Hey, what is up guys, GuitarRock here, welcome back to another FWTR video. And today we're gonna do the Thursday's guild raid. So let me set up my battle mastery accordingly. So you want to have 15 points in Caesar mastery. Alright, so I hope you guys are familiar with this strat. Basically you have your lineup should look something similar to this. You have Shogun, you have Electra, you have Sion, you have Evan, you have Churyeok as well. So Churyeok needs to tank up the boss. So Sion and Electra can be replaced with Kai Kisuke if you prefer him. If you have an awakened Kai Kisuke with decent equipments and strong runes, he might be able to do damage on par with Sion or Electra. So with that being said, we're gonna move on to the real battle. Alright, so positioning Shogun, Sion, Electra, Evan, Churyeok, and the mercenary Shogun. That's about it, pretty simple. So time your combat support correctly, if you need to use absolute protection, go ahead.
2 hours later.
Alright, so far we are doing great. So just gotta hold off on my combat support for now. And we have to time it correctly. So keep in mind that you want to use it immediately after the boss uses the burn MP skill. Uh-oh, I might have timed it wrongly. Nah, we should be fine. We're breaking our record, guys. We're breaking the record. 233,000. So now the boss will use the burn MP skill. Alright, maybe not yet. Maybe next round. Oh, we can kill the boss at least one more level, I believe. This is pretty cool. We are breaking if we do it correctly, maybe 10 more, perhaps 10 more million compared to our last week's score, which is cool. Can we kill a boss one last time? Yes, I believe we can. Alright, so there you have it. My Churyeok survived all the way to turn 50. Alright, so on to the guide. Alright, first things first, let's have a look at the stats that we have. So my Churyeok has around 230,000 HP, around 64,000 attack, 53% crit rate, 97% mastery, almost 79% defense. So you need to pay attention to your Churyeok's HP and defense. You can screw the rest of it. I myself prefer to have at least close above 95% mastery, but that's totally up to you. If you don't think that you prioritize on your Churyeok surviving more than dealing damage, then you should go for less mastery and more defense. So you should be sacrificing your amulet, your necklace in your slot, whatever slot that you're putting necklaces on, and giving him a brooch instead, which gives HP and defense. So 230,000 HP and around 78% defense is kind of okay, but not the best one out there. If you really want, you should be aiming for at least 235,000 HP and at least 80% defense. So that should definitely secure your Churyeok's tankiness without any difficulty. So basically your Churyeok will be spamming his third skill the entire time. Alright, so you want to lock the rest of the skills. Only enable third skill. He's not going to be able to use his first and second anyway, it's out of range. Alright, so this skill, it sort of recovers his HP. Alright, so it inflicts 188.8% damage on all enemies within the range and casting energy marks on all targets within range for 3 turns. Alright, so every time he casts an energy mark, his HP recovers, it says increase, but it actually recovers his HP by 15% to 30% depending on whether you have his soul gear or not. So I do have his soul gear maxed out. I believe it's was it this one? No, it's this one. So yeah, so his soul gear, if you max it out, it gives another additional 15%. So 15% without soul gear, and if you max out the soul gear, it will give another 15%, which will give him 30% HP increase or HP recovery, depending on how you're looking at it. So that in turns allows me to not have 80% defense. But if you do not have any soul gear on him, just try to get his soul gear. It's actually very useful for today's Thursday's guild raid. But if you happen to run out of the soul gear summon scrolls or something, so make sure you want at least 235,000 HP and 80% defense. Alright, so besides the defense, what else do you need? You need HP, I mean DOT recovery on your accessory. Alright, so you want to recover as much HP as percent of DOT taken, because the boss battery actually stacks DOT on you. So if you have at least 100% DOT recovery, then it's good. You can recover as much as you can. You won't have to worry about taking damage over time. Alright, so my Churyeok has Angel Knight on his slot 5. So it's not the ideal one, but generally if you're looking to get HP, you should give at least 2 pieces, the bow and the armor, and you can replace this necklace with a brooch. So I'm not a big fan of rolling DOT recovery on accessory on slot 5, and I'll tell you guys why. So this one, I just happen to have this. I did not purposely roll for it. Alright, I just happen to have the DOT taken, the DOT recovery right here. But ideally, if you plan to roll DOT at least 100% on him, what you should do is you should roll on your slot 4, this thing, and your slot 1, which is this. Alright, I know it's a bit difficult to comprehend for now, but I'll explain in a while. So if you roll slot 4, the DOT recovery that you can have, let's see, where is the DOT recovery? Alright, there it is. Recovers HP from 37.3% to 93.3% DOT. Alright, so 93.3% is the maximum you can obtain. So for slot 1, so we can have up to 23.3%. So 93, assuming that you get around 85, and over here you get another 15%. So that should give you the 100% of DOT recovery that you need. Alright, so generally you want to aim for slot 4 and slot 1. And the reason why is because if you have an accessory, let's say a slot 5, regardless if a necklace or brooch or anything, generally you want to have, the first thing you want to roll for is this, attack. Alright? I mean, alright, if you're building a tanky Churyeok, you will want defense first, alright? So that's your priority. And then you want to maximize your score. Go for damage, so you want to get attack and increase attack by percentage of HP. So if you lock all these 3 and you have all these 3 and you spam modify this way, you are wasting 8 modification stones on your slot 5. And I generally don't recommend that, because imagine if you don't actually get a good, and you actually need to get at least orange or above, and that's not easy to do. You're going to spend like, I don't know, hundreds of mod pots. You're spending lots of potions on slot 5, and that's not smart. That's not an efficient way to do things. Alright, so the reason why I recommend getting on slot 4 and slot 1 is because for slot 4, you only need minus % damage taken and increase attack by % of HP. And then you can lock these 2. You don't really need dodge or anything else. You can lock these 2 and try to roll for DOT % recovery. Alright, so in terms of efficiency, you're only wasting 4 of your mod pots as opposed to 8 on your slot 5, and same goes for the slot 1 as well. So you only need % HP and increase attack by % of HP. and that's about it. So you can lock this and just spend 4 mod pods. It's much more efficient this way. I think that it's a lot more easier for you to obtain the 100% DOT recovery. Alright, we'll talk about sets for a while, but first things first, besides the DOT recovery, your Churyeok also needs some sort of regen on himself. Alright, so I have this slot 2 right here. So this is definitely one of the best, if not the best regen sets you can have. You could sacrifice your slot 5 by giving him an Eldrika's Trinity, but I'm not sure how that works out. Eldrika, I believe, has slightly less regen than this set. So this specific set, extra curriculum, it gives recovers HP by 7% each turn. So 7% is a lot, considering that every time your Churyeok users spam the third skill and increase by 30%. So the total recovery, I believe, total up from that total max HP that you have. So that is a lot. Alright, so slot 2, generally you want to go for the extra curriculum set. So if you don't have this, you might be able to pull it off by putting a Green Ranger on slot 2 and Eldrika on slot 5. I've never tested it out because I don't have Eldrika myself. So yeah, let me know if any of you actually pull it off that way. I'm not sure how risky it is, but it sounds pretty damn risky to me. Alright, so what are the things that you need besides this slot 2 extra curriculum set? So generally for this specific set, you don't really need all the 3 pieces. You don't really need the full set. If you don't have the full set, that's fine. Get the weapon and the accessory. So this right here is actually a boots. It gives HP and dodge. Generally, if your Churyeok is not tanky enough, replace this with a plus 15 armor. Just give him a plus 15 armor from elsewhere and he should be a lot more tankier. Alright, so for me, if you are building your Churyeok to be as tanky as possible to survive the boss up to turn 50, this is generally the best for slot 2. Like, there's no debating. For slot 2, this is the best. And if you actually want to improve your damage, give him the full set, and he actually benefits from the bonus increase attack by 12%. So that would definitely help improve your score slightly. Not a lot, slightly, depending on whether your Churyeok has 100% mastery as well. Alright, so besides that, let's get on to slot 1 then. Alright, so what are our options on slot 1? So we have this one. This is the Spirit of Cold Steel set, and this set increases defense by 600 and decreases crit damage from enemy attacks by 8%. So this specific set is my personal favorite because occasionally the boss can crit, and once you reach turn 40-ish and above, the boss can deal insane damage if she actually crits. So you want to keep that in mind. So when the boss crit, if you do not have any reduction in crit damage, you are screwed, you know. Occasionally, depending on how tanky your Churyeok is. So I feel like this is definitely, I would say, the best one on slot 1. The second choice, if you don't have this, I would say get Slime King. You want to put Slime King on the weapon and an armor. I don't have Slime. Do I have Slime King to show you guys? It's my freaking Slime King, man. Alright, so I have Slime King over here, 2-piece. So you want to replace this, the middle one, the armor, with a plus 15 armor, because this is actually a shield. It gives HP and counter it. So you can give him this brooch and replace this with a weapon, 2-piece. It gives that defense by 1000, and you just replace the shield with a plus 15 armor. So besides that, I don't think there's any more. Oh yeah, there is one more set. Alright, this set could work as well depending on how tanky your Churyeok is, but generally I don't think it serves much purpose compared to the Spirit of Cold Steel. It does increase HP by 1400 and recovers HP 4% every turn, so it gives you the benefit of HP recovery. but if you already have extra curriculum, you don't really need this. But if you don't have that, you could replace your slot 1 with this to give your Churyeok a little bit of HP recovery. So this set could work as well. The Crusader's Path increases your HP by an insane amount, 2,904, almost 3,000. Recovers HP by 5% every turn and increases defense by 600. So unfortunately, this set doesn't prevent or reduce crit damage. So turn 40 and above, the boss crit, you're going to suffer a lot. And especially if you don't have enough lot gauge to charge up. Occasionally you might need to wait for 2 turns before you can actually use combat support. Actually, that depends on your other team composition. Unless all of your other DPS heroes actually have unprecedented sets to be able to use their skills twice, to charge the lot gauge twice as much. If no, don't go for it. It's very risky. Use Spirit of Cold Steel instead. Remember guys, crit damage. Alright, and the last choice of set is probably this one. This set decreases crit damage from enemy attacks by 7%. Obviously it gives attack instead of defense, but depending on how tanky your Churyeok is, if you have plus 15 everything else and you're lacking in slot 1, this could work. This could actually work. That decreased crit damage is what you actually want to prevent the boss from dealing too much damage to you. Alright, I'm pretty sure I've covered everything in slot 1 and 2. So let's get on to slot 3. Alright, my personal favorite is this specific set, Strategy Support System. So I like it a lot because if you have 2-piece, it gives all your allies 1080 attack boost while in the dungeon. So 1080 is pretty decent. All 5 of your heroes are actually getting it. And if you have the full set, increases defense by 1000. So that's what you actually want, increases defense by 1000. So the HP recovery will only work if I don't think it works on Churyeok. Maybe I'm wrong, but you definitely need an ally nearby, and he's definitely all by himself down there, so you don't have to worry about it. So we are only getting that 1000 defense and that 1080 attack to all allies. I do have HP DOT taken, DOT recovery right here. Alright, so what are the other sets you can replace this with? If you don't have this set, you can give him the Tiger Claw Tribe Guardian. You just need 2 pieces for that. Just give him the claw, the Tiger Claw, and the Tiger Necklace. So you shouldn't give him that because the Tiger Hood is actually a boots. Alright, so increases HP and dodge. You want to replace that with a plus 15 armor, preferably if you have it. So that would be pretty ideal. Something like this. Something like what I have on my Jack right now. Alright, another good set to have on your slot 3 is this High Human Guardian. You don't really need a full set, you only need 2 pieces. If you have 2 pieces, you can give him the Stone Punch, the weapon, and the accessory, which is a brooch. So as usual, you want to replace the armor because this is actually a shield, HP and counter rate right there. So replace it with a plus 15 armor and he should be golden. Alright, and lastly, if you happen to have this set, this is a pretty good set as well. So fair play, it decreases your dodge and counter rate, but increase your defense by 2000 and decrease crit damage from enemy attacks by 5%. Man, that's pretty good. Alright, so you can consider this set as well if you do not have any of the other sets that I mentioned. So this is a pretty good tank set. So something that you can consider to give your Churyeok as well. Keep that in mind. Alright, so next up we have slot 4. Alright, slot 4 without a doubt is much more obvious what to give him here. Defender of the Earth is probably the best one that you can have on him because all your allies will be alive for sure, and the HP increased by 18,000, defense by 2050. Come on, no item on slot 4 can actually beat that. Maybe you can consider giving him this set, the Watcher's Power. it does increase his HP by 7,000, almost 8,000, but 8,000, that's like half of what this actually gives, and this one actually gives flat 2050 defense, whereas this increased defense by 10%. Yeah, so definitely the Defender of the Earth is the best choice for slot 4. If you really don't have Defender of the Earth, you can try using the Iron Fortress set, but I doubt your Churyeok can survive up to turn 50. Maybe you will have difficulty surviving. Maybe turn 35 you'll start losing your health slowly and gradually, and you'll start dying. I'm not too sure. You need to balance out your other sets as well, so it depends on the other combination that you have on other sets. Perhaps you could make it work, but generally the best equipment in slot 4 would be Defender of the Earth. Alright, lastly we'll have slot 5. Alright, for slot 5, as I mentioned earlier, you want to have the Angel Knight at least 2 piece for the HP. You don't really need the attack by 18%, so you can easily replace this with a Brooch, plus 15 Brooch from elsewhere. So get the HP and get the Brooch. If you don't have this set, Eldrika work pretty decent as well, so Eldrika could work here. Although for Eldrika you really need that full set if you want it to work. And if you don't have Eldrika and you don't have Angel Knight, you can consider giving him a 2 piece of the Calm Guild set. So you only need the weapon and the Brooch for him to use and benefit from the HP. So that decreased crit rate for all enemies, I don't think it's worth sacrificing. You want to, because the armor is actually a shield, so you want to replace that with a plus 15 armor, especially on the slot 5. Plus 15 armor gives you a heck ton of HP. Look at that, 23,480 HP. And defense as well, so 1,342 defense. That would help you out a lot, a whole lot in surviving. Alright, so if you have those equipments that I mentioned earlier, so the next thing you need to keep in mind is HP regen overall. Alright, I know that the extra curriculum gives you 7% HP recovery, but generally in your armor you will want HP percent recovery as well. So this specific armor of Wish, you can have a look. It has that recover 2.5% HP every turn, so that would definitely help him a lot in surviving. He will need as much regen as he can. You want to have at least 10%. So this gives 7%, and if you mix in all your armor, get all the HP percent recovery if you can. Alright, this one don't have it. I believe we have some here. So recover 0.9% HP every turn, and you can obtain the HP recovery from runes as well. So it's kind of hard to mod your armor correctly, because you want defense, you want HP, and you want the minus damage taken, and if possible you want that recover by HP percent recovery. So that would help you out a lot. If you have difficulty or you're running out of mod pots and you're not sure if you can obtain it from the armor itself, you can try obtaining some from runes. So I believe HP recovery is much more easier to obtain from runes, but generally I only obtain the flat HP recovery, like this one, recover 1680 HP every turn. Alright, so you want at least 10% HP recovery in total, so keep that in mind. So with that being said, I'm gonna end the video here. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and if you do, please give it a like, and you can leave any questions you have or any doubts you have in the comment section below, and let me know what you guys think about this guide. Alright, see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.